Welcome back to another episode of BMSL, guys. I am your host, Ghost, and I got a great comment for you guys that we're going to review from Will Hayes. Shout out to Will Hayes doing his thing and leaving comments for us to discuss, man. And this is about class and classism. So without further ado, let's jump right in it. And it says, over the past year or so, maybe even longer, Coach has been talking about how he's a classist. It reminds me of growing up in the suburbs. He's a single mother-raised ninja, but the mom wasn't a straggle. She got us out of the hood when he was really young, and she was very classy even up until the day she passed. I never realized, he says, at the time, but I felt uncomfortable being around certain black people, which as a young black kid made me question myself, like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I see his point on that one. And he also says, why do I feel like he doesn't belong around these people when I'm one of them? Growing up, joining the Navy, seeing the world made me keep that same mentality. Basically, I don't want to do anything to do with these people over here. Stragnicias, Gloctaviuses and them. It wasn't until 6 months ago when Coach was saying, when it finally hit me, shit, I'm a classist too. I'll just say it. I can't stand certain ninjas and ninjettes. I mean, those types of people are so far removed from my life. When I see them on the internet, he's like, who the F is listening to you and who the F is dating you? But I forget, not everyone is thinking like that. It's weird because I've even had YouTube people look at me and tell me, you're too white. Hell, oh, this is interesting. He says his own ex-wife told him that he wasn't black enough. This is why I say black women are done. Like, no, you can't build anything stable with a black woman in America. But he says that's a whole different story. He's now in his 40s, doing very well for himself. Hey, there you go. And he's very proud that he's a classist. It actually makes me wonder, though, was racism originally about race, or was it more about class, but got switched over the years? And you know, this is actually a good point to bring up, because I've always wondered, if we were back in the slavery days, slavery lasted for 400 years here in America. How did it last that long? Because the men are not putting up with abuse, just like the Irish aren't putting up with abuse. Because I think that there was, man, I don't even want to get into it, but I just have a theory that I'll explore once I do a little bit more research. But I think the people that were holding black people back were the women. But let's just go over the article and pick out just specific points that we can go over and just take notes from. Class is important, and it doesn't matter where you grew up, you can still have class. So if I were growing up in the hood, I can still have a level of class befitting society. And that all this just means is that you can fit in society very easy. You're flexible enough to do so. But a lot of people nowadays, they don't necessarily want to fit in with society, right? Like, just like this brother said in the comment, he says, I don't get along with people who are like Gloctaviuses and Stragnicias. Now, without even seeing these people, you guys know exactly what he's talking about. Meaning, if you're overly ghetto, if you're coming into Walmart smelling like a pound, if your car smells like weed, etc., that is not class at all, and that is not okay. And the reason why we're lacking this today is because we have a peaceful economy, we have a peaceful society, and peace creates weak men. Hard times create strong men. Right now, I think that we're in the beginning phases of hard times. We've been at peace since World War II ended, Desert Storm ended, or we just got ourselves involved in Iraq and Desert Storm for some reason or another, but we did. But we live in different times now, which creates a lot of different problems like this one, because the men don't want to deal with a bunch of people who are just so gung-ho about, shooting somebody else and sending them to the Undertaker. And I don't blame them. And the same thing with the women. The women will set you up faster than a guy will set you up. And don't let you be a plug. Don't let you be plugged in and know some people, or an athlete or something like that. Then that gives them even more incentive to come after you. But that's classless behavior. Michelle Obama is not attending Donald Trump's inauguration. Classless, behavior. No matter, this brother even said it. His mama was in the hood, but she wasn't a strag. She got him out of the hood as soon as possible. And I wonder, would your mother do something like Michelle Obama is doing to Barack? Not showing up for him, not putting on a great face and a great public image for him, rumors spreading about divorce. Would she do something like that? I think not, because what he said is she had class. Even though she wasn't well off, she still understood how society is supposed to run, and she still understood what her worth is as a woman and what she was supposed to do, which then in turn encouraged him and his siblings to do something more for her. And he probably had a great relationship with her up until the moment that she passed, because she had class, decorum, respect, and all that other stuff. So shout out to him. But this is not what we see nowadays. And we see a lot of people and a lot of men in general that are lacking in tact because they never learned the basics. And it was never important to them, right? So they're growing up with their mothers. Their mothers are, wild. They're yelling at people. They're getting whatever they want from other people. And the kid is emulating that. And so when that kid grows up, he's going to be highly emotional. And he's going to do the same thing that his mother's doing and expect the same result. But the only difference is the same result is not going to happen because you don't have that wet, gushy stuff between your legs. You know what I mean? You can't do that. So instead of learning a better way, instead of introducing your kids or your son, your daughter to a different way other than yelling and throwing a fit, they just let them go off on their own and make these mistakes. And next thing you know, 80% of the prisoners that are in prison are single mother raised. They don't have tact. They could have done things a better way, but they didn't. And so now this is what we're left with, okay? We are desperately missing class. We need more people with class because then that's going to encourage the other people to take up class and better society and talk to people with more respect and have a little bit more decorum and be forthcoming with information and being we would solve so many issues if we had more class. But this is the position that we're in, created by the generation before us, because the generation was so strong and they bought us peace. They went and did all the hard labor. Now we're seeing the results from peaceful times. And I don't like what I'm seeing because I don't want to be out there with them ninjas at all. Them Glocktavias, them Keishas and all that stuff. That is literally putting my life in danger. I am not willing to put my life in danger just to be cool. Just like I said in my last video, I'm going to go to the culture. I'm going to go to the people that accept me for me without me having to change and do something different. It only makes sense. This is what the men did in the past. This is what I'm doing now. The only difference is the time. Times changed and we have to adjust with the current times, which is why we're having this conversation. Okay? In 2025, right now, the most beneficial thing that you can do is learn how to be tactful, learn about class, and learn about decorum. Because that is going to get you way further than anything else. Hey, shout out to Will Hayes for sharing this with me, man. I'm really happy for you that you're a classist now, that you're deciding for yourself what you want to be. And also shout out to everybody else for leaving comments. I'm going to be responding to comments in video form more often than not. And so if you like this type of content, if you like this type of structure, then feel free to comment below and let me know what your thoughts on this video, and maybe I'll reply to you next time. Shout out to you guys. I love you. I appreciate you guys. Check the links in the bio if you guys want some great deals on some great tech products, home appliance products, or anything like that. And I will see you guys on Thursday. Peace.